After last week's
Last week, I was like,
it's
I
my
tried to
favorite
rebuke
episode.
it like six
It's
times,
my
and they were, and YouTube was like, no,
it's my
no,
favorite episode. No, I'll keep it clean. I'll keep it
yeah.
clean.
And
Oh,
before we start, we would like to give our patron shout out of the week, which goes to Miss Robusta Cap, who I always see on Twitter. She's always liking our stuff, and thank you very much for supporting us over on our Patreon too. We appreciate it. After last week's episode, which did not get monetized, we appreciate that you're able to support us on that platform.
yeah.
Because we're gonna have to start selling a few items if we continue to go the way that we did last week.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Because
mean,
sometimes, I mean, the name is appropriate because sometimes I really want to bust a cap on George when he starts talking about Miss Laurie Strode. So, so I appreciate the name.
and then you want to bust something else over other people. So,
Well, usually like two at a time because,
ooh,
yeah.
she's
Because
versatile.
I'm a sharpshooter. Yeah,
My
yeah.
gosh.
Welcome to the Horror Hour.
We all go a little mad. Get you.
You are Here's Johnny. It's all for you.
Hello and welcome back to the Horror Hour, the place where we discuss, debate, and disagree on all things horror. I'm one of your hosts, George. Oh, I should have done it like, what's the name? Should have done, what's it called? Drag Race, where it's like, tonight it's just family.
It's
The hilarious David. David, let me ask you, have you ever screamed?
Well, not without the company of my uncle. Yeah.
No, but hi guys, welcome to the Horror Hour. Today it is just me and David. Don't know what's happened. I don't know how this has come to be that they've allowed us two to take this over today, but it's happening.
Yeah.
And we're here.
Yeah.
So David, how are you?
Well, I'm doing great, and I mean, I like to be fun and exciting and do all my stuff, but not at the expense of other people's lives. Anyway,
Listen,
sorry.
You better check your conscience at the door, sweetie. Not here to be loved. Because today, if you didn't guess, I know it's just going to be. I thought it's going to be, guys. Sorry, Utaka's probably thankful. Utaka and Liam, like, thank God we're not here. But yes, so today in the UK, when this airs, well, for patrons actually not, but when it airs for everybody else in the UK, tonight there will be the first viewings of Scream. Like for the public in the UK. So this week, of course, is Scream Week. Now we're going to keep things quiet. We're not talking about anything to do with what's coming up because David doesn't want to know. I don't want to know. I still don't know anything. I mean, I watched the trailers, but David's keeping mute. So we're going to have nothing of the sort. But as an excitement to get us ready for this, we are going to be talking about our top 5 moments of the franchise so far. Now, I found it took me a while because I had like a long list that
I still haven't made up my mind. Like I have a list, but I can't. Yeah.
No.
If you ask me next week, it'll probably be a little bit
different.
Yeah.
So,
it's so much.
It's just literally, I was like, okay, I've done, and then I would go, oh wait, no, that, and it was just. It was
I mean, spoiler alert for me.
Yes, it's going to be pretty much.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, I think actually mine's quite versatile. There's maybe one film.
That's a first.
Yeah, I know. Well, I try. There's maybe just one of the films that's not mentioned here. It was really close, but it just didn't quite make it.
And just because they're not mentioned doesn't mean that they're not.
Absolutely
good.
not. I mean, I will always say that any Scream movie, even the weakest Scream movie, if you want to call it that, is still better than pretty much most other.
Which to you is
probably 5.
Okay.
I literally watched one of our old videos yesterday, I think it was. It just came up on my thing. I was like, what would we talk about? And we were ranking the Scream films. And we were saying to Utaka, Utaka, which is your favorite sequel then, if you didn't like number 2? And he's like, I love number 5. And then you just go, okay. I was like, but look,
listen,
it's got some great parts.
Yeah. Well, it's the same with like Scream 4.
Yeah.
There's a certain generation that loves Scream 4, and there's a certain generation that's like, could do without it.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorites. Anyway, we could talk about this all the time. Let's just get into it, and then we'll develop our stories all the way. So let's start with number 5. Okay, I'll go first then. Seems I'm already my mouth's open.
Yeah.
Also,
Nothing
I'm
new
wearing.
there,
Oh my
but
god, I'm wearing my
well,
flannel today because the killers tend to always, for some reason, have a flannel moment.
yeah, they
Like
like to be butch or something. I don't know
they
what it is.
do. So
I
I
don't.
thought, I would get that. I bought this today. It's a new top, guys. TK Maxx.
I wish there's a Scream where it's like a flamboyant Liberace bitch that is just like she takes off or he takes off the
Oh,
mask and it's just beat and it's just like a full stack. Like you know the video of the guy. I don't know if it's
the
a
one in
guy or
New
a drag
York.
that he's like in full glitter in
Yeah,
the mask and he's like, that's what I
yeah.
want.
They obviously sell those like, and Liam's got one as well, but they sell like the Swarovski crystal mask. Like
Oh yeah.
Scream 7, we need a Swarovski crystal mask. Like,
Give us a
let's,
gay ass bitch.
yeah,
Give us a flamboyant killer. That's what I want.
yeah, that's what I want. And but I want also like Roger L. Jackson's voice to like be part of that. So instead of it being like, hello, Sydney, it's like,
Ooh,
but it's a bit
girl.
high and it's like, yeah, you
Guess
got
who's
it.
back in the house? Yeah, very that. That's what I want. That's what I want.
But it's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, Sydney.
Hi,
Hi, Sydney.
hey, Miss Thing.
Yeah.
Long time. Oh,
Wow,
anyway,
you've done it again. Anyway, so right, my number 5 is from it's a particular, because some of these are like scenes that kind of are more than a bit of a scene. Like they're I would say they're a moment, not like a
okay.
physical minute. But this one is a scene, but it expands out into something else. So number 5 for me is the Carrie Fisher cameo in Scream 3, because I rewatched Scream 3 yesterday, and that scene to me, now it's an extension of Parker Posey in general. I'm going to keep that quiet because I'm sure it's going to come back up at some point. But that's for me in that scene, Parker Posey with the "What are you, a reporter for Woodsboro High?" Like that whole thing, Carrie Fisher and Courtney Cox. Like to me, that was just like that's my favorite scene with Jennifer Jolie and Courtney Cox in, and the fact that Carrie Fisher, for years when I used to watch it, I was like, God, she really does look like Carrie Fisher.
I am done. At what age did you were like, oh,
like, and not even probably maybe like 5 years ago.
Oh,
it was probably after she died, and then it was like,
well, you didn't grow up watching. Well, Star Wars.
I know I did. Well, not.
Oh,
you
did?
Yeah, yeah. I watched Star Wars, and like I say, I was like, oh, she looks like her. And I was like, oh, but it can't be her because her name says Bernadette. I was like, and then it was like, I think I saw somewhere on Twitter and someone was like, Carrie Fisher's iconic, and I was like, oh shit, it was her. I mean, that's nothing new for me.
He's a little slow, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But that scene to me is, and Carrie Fisher looks fucking gorgeous in that. The way she's just like that outfit and her tits look great and the hair's just
I mean, the whole family, like Debbie Reynolds, and
all of them, are just stunning.
Scream
yes. Oh my god, she's got a funny name.
Oh, the gays are coming.
Yeah,
the gays are coming.
They're running to the computer now.
Booksmart, Scream Queens.
Is it somebody with B? Apocalypse.
While he's searching, guys, go and sign up for my OnlyFans. Yeah.
Has it officially been announced now? I thought we weren't announced. Yeah. You weren't announcing it yet.
Well, if you like foot infections, I feel like you guys will like my OnlyFans. Yeah.
Speaking of foot infections, Billy Lord.
Billy Lord, yes.
Yeah. She's stunning as well. She's so great. But yeah, so Carrie Fit, that scene just like encapsulates everything that sort of Scream 3 was as a film. And like, and the fact that Carrie Fisher wrote the cameo scene, to me, she wrote the scene like that.
Look at her.
Like, I mean, she says Steven Spielberg, who? Oh, well, he's not a writer, but is he?
I mean, and it's very funny. She's like the one that slept with the director.
Yeah,
it's like the Weinstein.
Well, that talking about like all these films are way before their time. That was about Weinstein. 4 was about TikTokers and Insta fame.
Right.
And I still think that if that came out now, it would have done so much better because it was at the beginning of the whole Insta fame.
Those movies like that, especially like, I mean, movies like Jennifer's Body, and stuff like that. They always they'll never appreciate it when they're there, and they'll always like
Showgirls.
I don't get me started on Showgirl. It's
but yeah, so that whole Scream 3 was, although it wasn't the original idea, do you know what? As I say, as I've gotten older, I've grown to enjoy it with every watch. And that scene to me is one that I'll go just rewind that a little bit and just watch that again. Or do you want me to tell me who you look like?
It's one of my favorite videos that I've ever done on my channel. I had so much fun, but try not to shut the fuck up. But it was just like, because I could just quote that. It's such a fun movie to watch. I mean, I'll explain why I love it so much later. But for me, what is it? Number 5?
Number 5.
Oh, this one changed the game for me.
Okay,
it's Olivia's death. I have never seen anything like, because obviously part 1, it starts off gory. It's a lot, but they don't show you while it's happening. It's usually like the aftermath.
Yeah.
When that knife went through that hand, and it's just like, it's so violent. And because I just went to have a good time. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know who was gonna. I know a lot of people knew who the killer was, and everybody, it was spoiled for a lot of people. I didn't know anything, so I stayed in the dark, and I was like, okay, this is nice. This is cool. The gang is back, and all that stuff. I mean, even the death in the beginning with the stabbing of the back and just how violent it was.
Yeah.
But when they showed Olivia's death, that entire movie theater, it was just like, I could hear a collective, because when Sydney walks in and just sees the gut. It looked like something out of a first date. Like, it was so cool because he threw her and he smacked, and it was just, for me, it was the knife in the hand. I don't like hand things. I don't like hand things. So everything leading up, and then when he smacks her across, like with the window, and
and like rolls her over, and she's like dangling out the.
It's the sickest shit I've seen. Like, I don't think I've ever seen well, maybe in Scream 5, you could say that Dewey's death was
it was bloody, but again, there wasn't like, I don't remember any major like organs.
No, it was just the double knife that was and Jesus, girl.
And
that was the one. It was the
but
in terms of like showing like how violent it was, especially because she was so vulnerable. She was like, like, feeling sexy and all that stuff with the bra and looking cute. And she looked toe the fuck up when he was done with. It was, and then when Sydney
and the hand goes down the wall.
Oh my god! I'm like,
and it's like,
girl. It was like, the wet. I was like, that scene is probably my favorite scene in that movie. Where, I mean, there are great scenes, but that scene, it's always the one when I think of Scream 4 is like, poor Olivia, because she looked so fine. She was stunning.
She was,
and then
so hot
in a closed casket. Poor thing. Yeah.
He was hoping for an open casket. No, sorry. I agree. Like, that whole scene, I'll always, and like I was saying to David before we started filming, that in the UK, for some reason, Scream 4 in the UK, we have PG 12, 15, 18 being the top rated, which every other every other Scream movie has been. But for some reason, Scream 4, I don't know if they just wanted to get more people into the theater, but it was a 15. So I was like, this is a lot. I feel
like if there's one to be like 13, it would be like Scream 3.
Yeah.
Scream 3 barely showed like crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, there was.
That was because of the time.
Yeah, because of what? Yeah, stay in school. I mean, actually, no.
Bitty bang bang.
What could have been? Stu Mocker's still alive. Anyway, do you see that woman's TED talk?
Ooh.
The mother of the shooter.
No, what she said? She
did a TED talk, and she was like, and it's like, I'm the mother of a Columbine shooter.
Is she selling merch?
Do you know what? She's like, bloody, probably. She probably got, I don't.
Out of the darkness. Yeah.
I can feel you, Taka, screaming through the
video right now.
Anyway, yes, but totally agree. Scream 4 was that scene, and that's when I would love in Scream 6, is to have something that's really gory, and like a moment like that where you're like, oh my god, this is
especially in New York. Yeah, like I feel like it should be grimy and just violent and
like in an alleyway or something, or like on the subway.
I told you about the guy that got stabbed in the neck late last year. The guy was getting home from work on the train. He was, sometimes you fall asleep and all that stuff. A guy came and stabbed him in the neck, like a Scream 5.
Yeah.
And then when the doors opened in the train, it was 34th Street and Union Penn Station.
Yeah.
The blood was just like whoosh, like it was just like dribbling out of the thing. It was the sickest scene, and it showed it on the news. It was just like the blood was just like, It was the sickest shit, and it was an empty car. Nobody. It was like 5 a.m. or something, 5 or some 4 something in the morning. It was sad, but it was something. I was like, girl, the material's right there. Like,
yeah,
come on now. Yeah.
damn.
So
well, we'll see. We will see.
Oh, rest in
Okay.
peace, girl. Anyway.
Yeah. R.I.P. In the arms of
Anyways,
the angels. Yeah. Moving on to number 4. So my number 4, I went with, because it will always be iconic, and that's Drew Barrymore's opening scene from the original Scream. Because when I was working out the list, I was like, ooh, there was another one that was kind of close to being 5th and would have moved everything down. But I was like, just as like a diehard Scream fan, I was like, I've got to put it on the list as a nod, because it was so fantastic. And the first time you watch that, you're just like, oh my God. I mean, the more I watch it now, I'm like, bitch, why don't you just keep fucking running? What was this whole like under the like just she
sneaks down and then she looks up and then she turns around. I'm like, girl.
She's like, like
I mean, it makes for a great effect when the mask turns around quick. Oh, I love that scene. And
then it comes through and she's like, it's so good. But like the bit that gets me is like when she's like trying to call for her mum and she's like, Mom, and like she's like can't talk.
And you feel the breath and like it's hard to breathe. Oh,
and then the noise, the music comes in. It's like, and then like she takes the mask on. It's like, oh, like it's just so good. Like
the
that
suspense,
whole
everything. Yeah,
just
the conversation leading up to that. It was just like very like because it would be something that I would try to do, be like be sexy and she like, please leave me alone. Like
I don't have
my
a boyfriend's
coming.
She was. Poor Casey. She had,
and it's moment. Just everything that leading up because Drew Barrymore was Drew Barrymore, and everybody was like, it was a Psycho effect. Yeah. Or even though they pushed it further, but it was like the whole, they can't kill Drew Barrymore. You know what I mean? Like, and all that stuff. Like, it was the same with Janet Leigh in Psycho. Everybody was like, even though she died like 40 minutes into the movie, but that had never happened before. Where like the main protagonist that we think is the main protagonist gets murdered.
Yeah,
that shit took me out, and the way the mom screams when she's like looking up and it is, and the zoom in that is so aggressive that it makes it like so good. I can't. I have something on my list that's like for me it's the one.
Yeah,
but oh my God, that scene gets me every time. Yeah, she's such a great actress. Like honestly, if the scene had gone a little bit longer, she could have been like best supporting actress or something because she carried that entire entry.
Yeah, it was like people still, I mean, it is one of those, I think the first 2 people talk about the most, but like obviously, no one denies that one is just the open is just iconic. And I think I'm intrigued to see if how much longer in horror it will continue to be known as that, if it's gonna be like an always thing. Or because obviously it's still, I mean, so it's 26 years old now, 27 years old this year. Like, I wonder if in like, another 20 years, if it will still be remembered as like oh my God. So my friend has never seen Scream films. Annoyingly, he wouldn't let me. I'm trying to force him to be like, hey, do you want to react? But I don't think he will. But I'm like, he was like, oh, we'll watch them and we're gonna like binge them. And he doesn't like horror films. I'm like so excited to show him.
Well, if Yutaka's family still remembers him, I feel like they should still, be able to remember
Scream. I mean, which one's more memorable though? And iconic,
yeah. So. Yeah, well, it depends to what bathhouse you go to.
Some people in Colorado, the bathhouse is well known.
Oh, Utica, yeah.
I remember him from 1996. Bless him. But so I had to give that a little shout out, because Drew's and that wig and the jumper is just iconic. I'm still on the hunt for a jumper that looks exactly like that because there's always cream jumpers, but I want like a proper woolen one.
I'm sure there's somebody that makes.
There's got to be on Etsy or something, surely.
Because there's people that make the costume.
That's my dream to have one of them.
I mean, I don't even know people that make the books. Like
the covers. I do want to get like the Out of Darkness and all of those ones.
That would be cute. But it's just I feel like it's the same with The Exorcist, Psycho. Yeah. Like Psycho came out like 60. What is it? I don't even know. But and he's still considered one of the top. I remember a couple of years ago they were like the top 100 villains and all that stuff, and he's still like number 3 or something. It's gonna be for a long even if there's which I doubt there's an entry that has an intense intro. I really wonder how they're gonna start this one.
I know. I'm really excited. I have no idea, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Scream 5 was violent.
Yeah. Like I was like, oh, and the leg. I was like, okay, this is
the hand and all that stepping on her, and I'm like, oh my god, girl. Yeah, because
she still survived. I was like, Jesus, she's a fighter.
Yeah, because I felt for her because I feel like we're like the same frame and all that stuff. So I was like, if I get
very
into,
dainty.
Skinny and all that stuff, and all, I feel like because like when they stick it in, you can still see it through the stomach.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was like, oh, like it came all the way out. Yeah, it was. I could see that for you. I could really see that for you. But I was watching Scream 3 yesterday again, and I still think, you know what? I know it's everyone always like, oh. I still think the way that opens with like the helicopter over the Hollywood sign and like it's going like, I think that's so cool. I mean, the whole scene doesn't live up to like but I think I
love it.
I think it's really good.
I love it. I know that people get upset of the voice changer.
Yeah, but like Jesus,
I don't watch movies like that.
Yeah,
I listen. People know that I could listen to Nick and Cody and all those people dissect movies, like because they go and they're really like analytical about things, and I love that. I don't think that way. I'm just like, oh, Jennifer, like that's just how my brain operates. So I'm like, but I just have fun with it, and it's just the voice change is fun. The him running up and the whole confusion situation. Oh, I live.
Why do you want to kill me?
Cotton.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, I could watch it right now.
Black Knight. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, sorry, we're gonna go way tangent. What is your number? Tell me your number 4, David.
Well, speaking of 3, is the entire scene in Jennifer's house.
Okay, yeah.
I could watch that scene for me, I love something that goes comical and then horror. Like I enjoy that. It was from the moment that they catch Gail in the house to sneak creeping and stuff to the point where they all meet up and they're pointing the gun and she's like, geez, and then the wind blows the door open and then they see I forget his name. The bodyguard. Kevin Costner. And they see, and he just falls, and everybody get inside the house, and then the door. It is there's so much happening, and I like that. I don't like when scenes like feel like they're dragging. Like, give me everything all at once, and everything that happened in her house was my favorite though. When they're outside and the fax is showing, they're showing them.
I know what you're gonna say.
I need to see what happens.
Yeah,
wait for the fucking movie. When I tell you, I could watch that scene on a loop because the comedy and it actually really like a creepy scene because it's like you don't know who the fuck, like what entry, what's going on. Yeah, it's a lot. It's creepy, but it's so fucking funny. I could watch that scene on a loop, and then I can't stop, bro. It is comedy gold, and I know that people love a horror, but I just love because there's some people that just don't have to try and be funny.
Yeah,
and Jennifer Parker Posey is one of those people. So she just brings, even if she's being dead serious, she still manages to make it the funniest shit in the world. And her and Courtney are just, I've never seen anything like it.
No,
there'll never be a duo like that and all that stuff. And I know people love, Tara and thing, and they're great, but there's some you just can't.
Yeah, no.
I don't know what drugs or what was going on back there, but my God.
They really said we're going to start the new millennium with a bang, and they did, because it was just like...
I was watching it as a kid. I remember when I rented, we used to have Movie Max and ZR. I would rent it and I would just watch it and I'd be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And people were like, okay, Miss Thing. Yeah, but whatever.
No, it is that iconic
scene from beginning to end, from the moment they catch her to the moment they see he's in the house. He was in the house. That's everything.
And it's the way as well that Parker Posey runs, she goes, and she like this like moves her body like
it's the facts.
It's literally like Clue. It's like
that's why I love it so much. Yeah, that's why I love it so much, because it literally plays out like she plays a Mrs. Peacock, where it's like everything. Yeah, it is the funny. Again, if you know me, you know I love a whodunit, murder mystery. So everything about that scene, from they don't know what's coming from, they're trying to figure. It is perfection. I feel like there's a certain audience that if you love like campy murder mysteries, Scream 3 is like probably like, if not your number 1, number 2 at least.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, and I always say in this channel, I don't like comedy horrors, but that's like the one I'm like, this is the allowance for me. Yeah. And there was a scene I saw which I'd never even like picked up on it before, and it's when they're driving, and they think they're speaking to Sydney, and Sydney's like, hey, and Dewey goes, it's Sydney, and then she goes in the back, and then they go,
which pisses me off that they never had a scene together.
I know. I really would have loved that. She'd have been like,
oh my god,
just say that she was just, it's perfection. So
she would have been feeling her fantasy. She would have been,
just, oh my god, it's so good. I only watched it yesterday, and now I'm like, I want to watch those scenes again.
So good.
Okay, so my number 3 then is something that I'm really hoping we get in this next film as well, and it is Gale's chase scene in Scream 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, out of all of them, it's very close with Sarah Jessica Parker's, Sarah Michelle Gellar's.
Well, and just like that's gonna happen in the next season of Just Like That.
Maybe she'll get a cameo.
Samantha's
like
following her ass.
Face. Yeah,
keep my name out your. Yeah. I want to see that. Yeah.
But yeah, so the Gale chase scene to me, the start of it, from like just the moment of where the TV comes on and she's like, do it, and his hands on her breast, and she's like, that's not my footage, and like that whole bit, and then him like falling down the stairs with his like arm, and then the way that Ghostface just like pops up like right at the bottom, and she's like, oh, and then they've run, and then the whole like, honestly, I still, even now, I know what happens when she's like diving between those soundboards in the, I'm literally like, and the way that Ghostface literally like, it looks like he's hovering, he's like,
it's like a shark. It's like a shark. Yeah. For like, I'm So Gay, that I was just like, the outfit, the white, the skin tight white, and the
and the black, and her hair, like they all look the best in that film. They've never looked better in that film.
Yeah.
But that moment, and then like the whole bit, I remember thinking, oh shit, Dewey has finally died here.
Met his maker.
When he was like up against the thing in her face, and it's just like, it's so good.
His back must look like cotton candy at this point, because I'm like, what's left?
I really think Scream 4 should have been in a wheelchair or like a little electric scooter, and he's like, no. Or like, I'm gonna get you.
It's like, at this point, it's like even the voice, hey guys, I don't.
They just get. Hello, Gale.
Don't cancel me. Don't cancel.
Little voice box. Or one of those little, the things with the on the side, the voice. Hello, everybody.
What's that? Like, oh god, what's his name? I mean, at this point, he would have looked like Roger Reeves or something. Like, it's fucked up. Like, poor thing, but whatever. You know,
he had a good run. But yeah, that scene to me is just like so iconic, and to me is I would say the best chase scene in the whole franchise, in my opinion, because it's just so like tense, and then she sees Cotton and she's like, oh my god, and then it's so good. So yeah, and that'd be a 9 number 3. What about you? What's taking 3rd place?
You know, I'm gonna say this, because I wasn't going to include it, because I was like, I don't know, but then I was watching it recent. I watched the movie again, and I know it's not everybody's favorite. Well, there's people that love it, but Tara in the wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, am I really not going to include a single Scream? But I was like, there's something in Scream that I remember getting me. So I watched it again, and I was like, that's the one where it's a testament to her, because she's such a great actress, because you can feel how uncomfortable it is to like the bloody hands and then having to roll the thing. Let me tell you something. When Ghostface shows up in the back and he's talking on the phone,
and the red,
that scene, I remember I saw it in the movie theaters. That scene, I remember like getting like, oh shit, like don't do it. I didn't know if he was, because my sick mind, I was like, oh, he's gonna make her listen to her while he's killing her.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted. But I get it. They wanted to keep her on for a while.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, that would have been so good if they would have just killed her right there on the phone. But that scene, and when she finds the dead cop, and then she's trying to roll, and then that conversation with her in the phone and the car with Dewey, and the way that scene played out, I thought it was like that was part my favorite scene in the movie. And it's not my favorite movie in the, but I remember that scene. I was like, oh bitch, that's how you do a suspense. Because the suspense, I genuinely didn't know if they was gonna, because again, my mind is sick and twisted, and I wanted them to kill Tara there. I love Tara, But my mind is like everybody's
free game.
Hands, available. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, because that would have been like impactful, I think. But that's just me. But the minute she was holding the blood and you see the blood just gushing out of the bandages, oh my god, everything. I love that scene. And it's not my favorite in the thing, but I don't hate the movie, but it's just like not one that I would go to like, oh, I want to watch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mostly for me, it's like I want to watch Scream 2 or Scream 3.
Yeah.
Scream 4 is there too, yeah.
I found recently, because as I don't know if I said it when we were watching, I'm rewatching them all before we get to this one, and I was watching Scream 1 and Scream 2, and I love them and I always love them, but I was really excited because I think I watched them a lot. I was really excited to get to Scream 3, and tonight I'll watch Scream 4 because I don't watch them as much, and so I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I'm gonna get into watching them a bit more now because I feel like I don't want to get to the point, which I haven't yet, which is a surprise, where I'm like sick of the films. But I'm like, so maybe I'll take a pause and maybe I'll do some 3 and 4 sessions, because they are.
And and I don't know if it's because it's more recent, but Scream 5 has its moments where I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, it's not a comfort movie yet. No, I think maybe in a couple of years it'll probably be one that I'm like, you know what? I underestimate. I never hated it, but I was just like, it's one of those like Scream 3. Yeah, I could watch Scream 3.
That's what I mean. Like, and I think that's what I think my thing is with it. It's not that I'm like, I know it probably seems on the channel like I'm shitting on it. I'm absolutely not. I think that Radio Silence were the perfect people to take over this franchise, and I am thoroughly excited for Scream 6, even if it, might not have some people in, allegedly.
I'm staying out of that conversation because I don't know what the fuck is going on. I know that people are upset because they got spoiled who the killers were.
I don't know anything about that. I thankfully, because they were like, everyone was like, mute Scream, and all I saw when I was seeing Scream is everyone just telling me to mute Scream, so I haven't seen anything spoilers. So I'm grateful on that. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I think, like you said, I think because we haven't had as much, it's only been a year with Scream 5. So I think once the next film comes out, maybe once we complete the trilogy, everything will feel a lot more like, that's what that was, I can appreciate it as a full package, which I think you do with like Scream 1, 2, and 3 is like that trilogy, and then Scream 4, bless it's on its own, and then
it's almost like with that guy that you're dating, and then you like see him with another, where you like dumped him, and then you see him with somebody else, and then you want him back. So you sleep with him behind the guy's back and all that stuff, and then you're like, oh my god.
No guy's ever wanted to date me, but it was like that with my girlfriend. All right, we'll get into that conversation.
This is not turning into a comedy session, so let's not.
But yeah, no, I do appreciate Scream 5, and I am looking forward to watching it on my rewatch. So yeah, and that scene was, I remember being in the cinema like, oh damn, like
when he shows up and the tone is like greenish. Yeah. And it's just like he just walks slowly and he just does the thing, and then I live for that scene. It's my favorite. It
sounds like Darth Vader with like the
I was like, what the fuck is going on over here? But I lived.
Yeah.
Oh, I lived. Yeah,
that was really good. Okay, then. So I'll move on to my number 2, which I've just changed because I'm going to be nice. And I'm going to include something from Scream 2022, because my number 1, which I'll just mention after, isn't actually a scene, it's like a whole thing. So technically I know people will be going, that's not a moment, so I'll say it as like a thing at the end. But so I'm gonna go for them for my second place is the moment that Sam Carpenter snaps and says, never trust the daughter of a serial killer, and just goes to ham on Richie, because I may have said it a few times on the channel, I haven't been a huge fan of, I understand what they're doing, but right now I'm not in Sam's zone. I'm hoping Scream 6 will change that, but I wasn't really a big fan. But that was the moment that I was like, this is what I want. Like, I want a final girl who's a fucking psychopath. Like,
so what was your problem with her? That she was boring?
So, yes, I just found, and I know everyone's going to go, she was on drugs. I don't care. It's a film. Make something up. Like, so I just found her just a bit deadpan. And I was like, there's nothing really. And then they tried to do the whole Billy Loomis thing, which I wasn't a fan of, because I just thought it made it, I was just a bit like I genuinely remember in the cinema saying when he showed up, because I heard that he might be, and I was like, maybe it's not true. So when he showed up, I literally said in cinema, oh, they've done it. And because I was like, I just don't know how I feel about it yet. Again,
reminds me of that with Dewey. Gale.
With Gale. Just doing everyone. I mean, I know they did it in Scream 3, but that was kind of camp with the Sid. Mother wants to talk to you.
There has to be an honorable mention because no, it's not that scene.
Okay.
It's the scene in the house. Why don't you give mommy a hug? I still to this day, and I don't want to be. I know there's people that were like, no, that was Roman or that. I love that I can't tell if she was actually going a little bit Lori or like
she was going,
that scene generally brings chills to my because it's just like it's the effect that it has because you can see the face that she's so tired, like distraught, and when that hand comes up, I crack a little because it is so good.
Yeah,
it is one of it's one of those moments because to me, Scream is not scary. Scream is suspenseful.
Yeah,
it has you're like, but that scene, I remember being a little kid and I was like, the fuck is going on up? Like it genuinely creeped me out because I was like, I still don't want to know if it's like, some people like to like ask the director like, well,
what's it?
Anyways, but anyways, or ask like the writers or like, what did you intend?
He wasn't the right on that one.
Right, but it was like, oh, so what? Well, I don't want to know. I genuinely want to feel like maybe she was crazy. Maybe it was Roman. I don't care.
Yeah, I like to think in my heart that it was like her going snapping a bit because I was thinking, they get up to there pretty quick and that he was gone. I think, I like, and then I think because the only thing I'm kind of like about is that then Roman uses it at the end in the. I wish they hadn't done that bit again because I think it would have just been like really poignant that it's just
right. Because it would have left you. No, you don't want to know.
Yeah,
but I love it.
And the way that she screams like Dewey's name just before that, and I'm like, that scene is. I mean, that's a brilliant chase scene as well. Like the way that, like when she opens the door and she like flies,
and that's a great way because it's like paying homage to the original while still doing something completely different. Especially when the door,
swings open.
She throws I live.
I'm like, does Roman not know his own set? Like Jesus, this man didn't even know.
Well.
But sorry, my number 2, yes. So Sam Carpenter, when she went mad, and I'm intrigued to see if they do, how they continue that storyline. Maybe not even have to be physically Billy's there, but how if they mention like, Sam, you did really go quite ham hock on him at the end. Is everything all right, babe? And if they kind of deal with that, if that's like a little side, I would really like a side story where she's still dealing with all of that
therapy,
yeah, like hey Sam, how are you feeling?
She has like a thing with pills.
Yeah,
she starts shaking and shit.
She's like Ghostface is coming, she's like, wait,
he's come again.
She's just like aged 20 years like the next one. He's like sitting in a window like white hair and she's like,
I've waited for him.
It's like it's been 6 months, Sam. Why have you?
Wait a minute.
Oh,
I would live. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe because I feel like maybe they got the hint that people weren't a big fan. Because this was something that I kept seeing, even when I did my commentary to it. People were like, "Yeah, Sam." I'm like,
I don't hate it.
But I got into Sam in the end.
Yeah,
honestly, and there's nothing wrong because I feel like there's final girls that are very like.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's important to have different types of final girls, and I do think that she's definitely a new type of final girl, and I do find it interesting the route they're going down. There was just like, I think the rest of the cast was so strong, and maybe like so the characters that a lot of them were quite full characters, that because maybe the character's a little bit more reserved, that it didn't kind of grab me as much, and I was kind of like, they're relying on this crutch of Billy Loomis being a dad, and like nobody cares.
Yeah, it's understandable because not every final girl needs to be like, I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill, like we can't haul. It can't be like
we can't have all errands like running around, like, because otherwise it would get boring.
Exactly.
So
and it's like the same with what's her name? Mindy.
Yeah,
I saw Nick is one that I don't know if he says this. I'm sure he said this in the video or something where he was like not a biggest fan of Mindy.
Mm-hmm.
I love Mindy, and he's like, why is she being so nonchalant? Like she's, like, and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, gays really don't.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, whatever.
She's
but she was so very nonchalant about things considering where she's at, which I understand,
Yes.
but I'm like, she's getting laid. I'm like, I'd probably be
life. Yeah. So yeah, I would say then my number 2 is the stab, because I was like, yes. And when she kept going, I was like, this is what I want. And I hope there's like another scene in this next film where she kind of snaps again. And it's I mean, I don't want to, there was a point where I was like, you know, and I don't think they should go down the whole, I mean, maybe it would be interesting. I don't know if like they did go, okay, in the last one, she's Ghostface. Like, kind of like, I don't know.
That would be like a lazy fuck.
Yeah, I get.
You know what I mean?
But I would
like, oh yeah, he's there.
Yeah,
so I guess I'll fuck him. But you know, like.
But I would still I'd be like to see something where they kind of, you know, you. Oh my god, sorry, the ghost has decided that I'm no longer going to be in focus.
No, we like it like that.
Melissa Beret's like, get the fuck away from me. So I would like something where, you know, maybe the other characters are like, you know, feel a little bit like, oh shit, about her. But
yeah, or like a moment where Tara's like,
yeah,
the fuck is going
on? And she's like, I don't know whether to run to Ghostface or run to you.
Run to
like,
you, yeah, exactly. That'll be good.
Cool.
Or like a good moment, like, oh, that would be nice to see.
Yeah,
poor thing, she's been, girl, that poor twink.
Miss Wednesday's like had enough.
Sure.
So tell me then, your number 2.
Oh God. I'm gonna say this is the. Sorry for bringing Scream 3 again.
No,
but
it's fine.
This scene. Listen, I'm not speaking for the Scream community. I'm just speaking for me. This is just me, David, as a fan of the. I know that there's a lot of crazy fans out there that take it very seriously. I just watch it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the scene, the reveal in Scream 3, but not just the reveal, the fight, because he was the only one that I was like, oh, that was the first time that I was like, oh, he's gonna kill her.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's gonna kill her and this good shit and he's done. You know what?
Yeah.
Like and there's something, I know that there was the whole, like, there were 2 killers and all that stuff, and I get, but if for what we got, Roman, for me, is easily like top 3, like even top 2 killers, because he was so masterful in the way that he just decepted everybody. He made sure that everybody was in the house. Like, the way that he just manipulated everybody is genius. And the argument with, I've heard this shit before. Like, it
takes some fucking responsibility.
And it's funny because the way that they interacted, they felt like kids arguing. It was like intense, but it was so funny when he was just like having his tantrum and mommy this and mommy. I love when I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like when the lights come off and he's just beating the shit out of Sydney. I'm like, oh my goodness, poor thing. She's tired. The wig is gonna come off. And I was just like,
the wig.
The wig. It's a good wig though, because I didn't even know for years that it was a wig.
Mm.
It was but yeah, everything about them when she finally stabs him in the back and all that stuff and everything. But that was the first time. But the reason why I love that scene so much is because that was the first time that I generally felt like, oh, she's dying.
Yeah.
And because before that, yes, part 2, it was intense. There was 2 of them. But for some reason, just the confine and how he had so much control over the space, I was like, oh, she's done. Sorry, Miss Thing. But I eat that scene up. I know some people don't like it, but I'm like, whatever.
I do think, I mean, that in... Oh, actually, I don't think so. But it is one of... I was going to say something, but then I might know. I do love that scene, and I do love, like that whole, it just that you say feels so confined, and then like when he's like, literally like strangling the fuck out of her, and then like the lights go and he like drops and she's like, and and like they get the whole shooting each other up, and
I could, it's just, and it's just like how sorry she feels for him when she's holding her hand.
She holds his hand. And he's like, she's like, stab 3. And I tweeted this the other day because people were like, what's one thing you didn't like about the Scream franchise? And I will say this till death. I still believe that he should not have got up after that. When she says he wasn't superhuman, Dewey, he wasn't superhuman at all, I don't think he should have got up. And I think that would have been so powerful that it was like, I wrote this whole spiel on fucking Twitter, like, you know, he came from the worst of humanity and all this. But I just think that would have been so.
But then I wouldn't have been able to say, what am I good at? And then Sydney says, head. You know, so I needed that moment. I needed that comedic moment. So but other than that, I yes, that would have been cool. But you know, I mean, it's a Scream movie. They need
Yeah.
to, always be ridiculous and over the top. So
Yeah.
which I get it.
I guess.
And it's like it goes with tradition.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Like
one of them's got to get
Billy and one, all that stuff. So it
Okay.
makes sense.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, then. Well, my number one. Now, I would like to think that we've got the same number one, but I don't know if we do. So my number.
You should know. I mean, you should know me by now, I think. I don't know.
I mean, number one is it's Jill Roberts' reveal scene. There is nothing better. Is it your number one?
No, it's not.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I mean, I would not disagree with you, but it's not my number one. My number one is one that really stuck with me years after.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it in a minute. But no, for me, that whole scene, I don't know if it's because I related to that girl. So I was like, when I was watching this, I was like, oh my God, yes. I was like, this is me. Just from the moment that, even though when she runs and stabs Sydney, and I was like, I remember thinking, God, Ghostface is really short. Because I didn't know anything, and for some reason, every time I watch reactions now, I don't know if they've seen it and they know, but loads of people reacting like, it's Jill, it's definitely. And I was like, I had no way through that film did I think it was her. Like, not one moment.
I didn't know who the fuck it was. Because I think when I walked in, I was like, because I know people were spoiled. I was like, nope, I don't even know who the fuck.
Yeah,
I loved it. But the scene that makes me laugh is when Charlie is holding Sydney in the back.
Like, think anyone's gonna get away? She's literally like, oh, bless.
That's what always tickles me when I see like a twink bottom, a twink top, and then like a muscle top bottom. I'm like, that is the funniest thing in the world.
It is hilarious. But yeah, that whole scene. So from the moment that she unmasks Anne, I was like, oh my God, to her whole monologue about, what am I going to do? Go to college, grad school, work. Take a look around. Anyway, I could quote the whole thing, but I'm not going to.
Oh my God.
And then that was, I know we said about Scream 3, but when she stabbed Sydney and said, don't tell me you didn't know this day would come, I was like, oh my God, they've killed Sydney. But I was kind of like okay with it, which is weird because if they did that now, I'd be a mess. But there I was like, do you know what? I was like, this fits and this is so cool. And I'm so sad that they never got to do what they were originally going to do.
And how pussy would it have been if they had just continued Scream 5 with her. 10, was it 10 years later?
Yeah.
And it's just her, she's working, or she's like an influencer, I don't know, whatever. And it's just everybody, Gail thinks that, that would have been the gag for me. Like I don't know if they'll ever have the balls to do something like that. So stay tuned, but that to me was like, would have been like a huge, I'm sure it would have pissed off a lot of people, but to me, it would have changed the game. To have a ghost face that makes it to the next, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
It's argue in the comment section. I don't give a shit. But it would have been everything.
And I kind of wishful thinking, because I saw it so many times, and I remember thinking every time that because of the way the camera moves at the end when it's like Jill Roberts, the woods where the girl has lived at Spirit's Nest, I was like, she moves. It's just the camera moving. I was like, she's moved. And then for years, I was like, and then I watched it back like slow motion. I was like, oh no, it's just the camera moving. It looks like because she's like that she is like, and I was like, if she breathed, I know she got like shot in the heart, but
oh my God,
if anybody could come back, she would be
that final act was insane.
And just fucking the way she went, the hair with the, and then the running into the night, and like the way she's just like,
and I love the fight in the hospital with Sydney. Oh, when she squeezed, when she put,
how's the stitches, and the way that she like this little skinny twink like literally launches Sydney into like, and I'm like, damn,
she fucked up Dewey, doing the bedpan. She ate it up. Like, you can't deny. Like, I know there's a certain generation, people that don't like Scream 4.
Yeah,
but you cannot deny that she turned the party in Scream 4. When the second she reveals herself, there's something I don't know what atomic bomb blew up, but she stole the show. Love Sydney, love Gail, love Dewey.
Yeah.
But I could not take my eyes off of Jill. She stole the show, hands down.
100%. Like, she is to me, and everyone's like, oh, Billy. Like, she will always be the number one Ghostface in my eyes. To me, like, just because of that, and she was the one. Kate Perry said it, the one that got away almost. Like she is the one. Like, if she hadn't have stopped, and you said it in your reaction because I watched it the day, you were like, just stop talking when she's speaking to Dewey. Like, if she just stopped talking,
yes,
it would have been fine.
She would have been. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Book deal. Everything. But people like that, they love to make sure somebody hears them.
All the ghost faces, that's the problem. They all just talk too much, and you're like, this is why you're gonna die. So yeah, for me, it has to be Jill's reel because it is just so iconic, and like her throat, just yeah, she's an icon. So that would be my number one. So David, I'm intrigued. Then, what is your number one?
My number one. I remember seeing this as a child and I was traumatized, and I know it's silly, but I was, because I'm a movie theater goer.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw what they did to Miss poor Jada Pinkett, when I think of Scream, I know this is like maybe blasphemous, but my first thought, it goes to like the movie theater scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's to this day, I still, because I'm like, okay, they kill poor thing in the bathroom and the glory hole and all that stuff. But the part when she for me, is just how good of an actress she is, because you can feel. I don't like seeing things where people are getting murdered. I mean, I've heard of those in the news where it's like somebody got stabbed or shot and nobody heard a thing or nobody said anything, whatever. That is my fear of dying and nobody doing a damn thing about it. Like, I'll be like, what the fuck? Like, fuck my drag, right? Like, what?
Yeah.
What? And when she's just, poor thing, is walking around, she's like, the veins in her neck, and she's like, poor, she struggling to breathe. And then he does that last stab, and it's like the music starts. I lose my mind, because it's just like the way it plays out is so dramatic, and it's so. That was one that I'm like, this is very serious. Like, it's a very serious. There's no comedy. It's just a straight up horrifying event that's happening to this woman. I think about that scene, and I watch it very slowly, because I'm like, how did nobody see a damn thing? I feel like that would be like some Avengers shit that would happen, because I know people go crazy with it. I'll be like, that's some bullshit. And the woman that she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like, she's like, no. I'm like, girl, pisses me off every time. But that was one that I was like, I was kind of afraid to go to a movie theater, and not like a packed movie theater, because I was like, what if somebody like stabs me from the back or something? Like, because I used to love going to like opening night when the movie theater was packed and all that stuff. After that, I was like, no, I'm good. Yeah. I mean, that's why I like going to empty, because you can sit in the back corner and
you can watch Pearl and do. I still can't get over that video.
But there, she was straight up giving him head. That's
like good for her. Though. Like,
but I'm like, what if? But then it's like, what if the security comes in and he's like, ma'am, and then it looks like you're eating mayonnaise, like I'm like, oh. So leave the movie theater with drip, like cum drip. That is ghetto. That is low class. I mean, that didn't happen in Scream 2, but
no, that would have been. I mean, they should have done that. I mean, that's the only thing about like the Scream 2. I mean, I love it so much, and I agree. And the way that her scream, and then like the way she just like flat hits the floor, and it's just silence, and it goes like
silence.
Like, that's perfection. But I just can't stop thinking about Brenda. This is for Jackie Chan and Big Mama's house.
It's the most iconic scene in that movie. It's one that I'm like, this is the most iconic scene in that movie.
Yeah.
There's no denying that scene. It makes me uncomfortable to watch. Because I'm like, there's nothing. It's because, again, we get it with Casey. She's alone, so it's more like it's easier for your mind to wrap around. But it's very hard for you to be like, all these people and nobody could. That pissed me off. And poor thing in the back, just ill to die in a public bathroom.
I know. It's just
that's tacky.
I never understood why the two ghost faces were like looked at him like funny. I was like, wait, what are you pissing him so long at? Oh, maybe they were for
the aesthetic.
Were they cruising?
They look good. Ooh.
And that's why they were kind of like,
oh my god, I'm surprised they haven't done like a portable like pussy. Because the mask looks like,
but you could like go in from. Hang on.
No, if you do like a little slit, you can do like the lips.
Yeah.
And like black lips. Okay. I tried.
We got so far to the end.
Hey, I was in my Barbara Walters moment, and then of course I went to filth and gutter. But I lasted as long as I could.
I
lasted longer than I do in bed.
Wow. Nick did say anyway. Joke, guys, joke.
Oh, my DMs. I gotta show you some of my DMs.
Oh God, Jesus! I dread to think what to say.
Oh.
But I do want to say one final thing, because there's one thing that I wanted. This was originally going to be on my list, but I thought someone's going, and it's just any time that Sydney's theme comes on, like just any scene where that scene starts up and Nev Campbell has got like her eyes are glazed over with like the water, and she just looks deadpan, like I've just had enough. Yeah. Like it's just the best.
For me, obviously, another mention has to be Hi, Sid.
Oh, of course. I was like, really
if I ever meet Nev Campbell, I will walk up and be like, "Hi, Sid," and I would just, she'll be like, "Is he slow?" But I would just be like, I'll be living my fantasy but I would have to go dressed up and all preppy.
Yeah,
and I would just have to do the big ass smile, big ass teeth, and I would just, "Hi, Sid."
You should see if Portia's on Cameo and get her to a cameo where she says like, "I shouldn't." I would pay.
Oh my God, you don't understand. But yeah, I don't know. I really wish they could bring them back for like even just a little like, "I should," and then just.
I mean, I hope. No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say something. No, I would just like something. Yeah, in a future film, like to do something like that again. But like to be like, "Hi, Sham," like.
It's so good, and I don't know what. And people were like, "Is?" Because I've said it because I'm like, that's how it sounds to me. People were like, "Why are you saying it like that?" I'm like, yeah, because it literally sounds like they're Elijah Minnelli. Like, I just said it in a drag version. But...
Yeah, it's just a bit over dramatic.
I'm gay, so
no, it's camp. It's camp. Love it. But well, there we go, guys. That was our top 5 moments of the Scream franchise thus far, and who knows, maybe there'll be something in Scream 6 that makes us adjust our list. Maybe we'll have to do this again with Liam and Yutaka at some point in the future, or when they finalize. I imagine 7 would probably be the last of a trilogy. Maybe then we can do a full one. But I think we got some great ones there. There was a lot of.
Did they say that they're gonna do more than?
No, they haven't yet. I would imagine. Okay. I think once when they did 5, Radio Silence said, we would love to, the aim is to do our own trilogy. But I mean, it all depends on what happens with Scream 6. I can't imagine Scream 6 not doing well, because I feel like this is even more hype than Scream 5 was. I know you haven't really seen it, but I feel like there is a lot of hype behind this film. Let's hope it lives up to it. We will see.
If Halloween got 3, they can get 3.
I think that they will do a trilogy,
because I feel like they have the same like fervor. I mean, personally, I know, but I don't know. I enjoyed what they, because I know people hated Kills. Obsessed with Kills. Because I love Violent Michael, so I love that they gave us that. So I feel like even if this movie is underwhelming, I feel like they could still give us another one more at least, just to like wrap things up.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to like finalize that, and then I know because Scream 3 Scream 3 was like, that's the end of Sydney's stories, and they were like, we're coming back. So Scream 4 kind of made it a bit like, oh, we're in limbo.
Or Scream 6 ends as like Sam gets a call, "It's me, shit. I'm coming back."
I would love Scream 6 to end on a cliffhanger.
Again, my only cliffhanger will be like if the Ghostface survives, or if there's at least one survives or something. Like they don't know who the other Ghostface is.
Yeah, like you think it finishes, and then the last minute is literally someone going like, "Hello, Sam," and then that's like the end, and you're like, "Oh shit!" Like there's something else going on. Because to me, all of the other films have ended in sort of like a happy-ish way, and to me, I always thought this about 4 always like that ended to me is so iconic, with her just dead face and like the reporter talking over it, because you're just like, oh my god, that's crazy. Whereas all the others like kind of leave like a zoom out and then like a song going like
Scream 3,
like
very
and it's all
no, I want sad, I want tragic, I want intense, I want a ridiculous end. That's what I want.
Let's see what Scream 6 brings. But let us know in the comments below. Nothing about Scream 6, please. But let us know what you think of the other films. Which one of some of your favorite top 5 moments of the franchise so far? And do you agree with us? Yeah. What were you gagged, snatched, and mothered, honey? Working the tea and serving the biscuits. Anyway,
you better work that puss.
Scream, more like gagged. Okay,
more like cream in my.
We'll leave that for the after hours. But yes, thank you so much for watching, David. Thank you so much for joining me, because I was like, pleasure. If David can't come, I'll happily just do my top 10. Everyone will be like, everyone would have fast forward real quick through the video. Like we kind of a full video, just George talking
Jill,
about
Jill. Every time card is Jill.
Like, hey guys, we're doing a full watch along of all 5 movies right now. What's that white stuff on that?
Oh, I don't even know what it is.
Oh,
no, it's not. Oh no, I think it's like no, it's not a stain. It's like
Activia.
Well, it's kind of like like when dog poo turns white. So I just like.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.